David stared at the envelope marked paternity results, its corners frayed from days clenched in his fist. Samuel cooed in his crib, Lily's old mobile spinning above him. The lab had used Rachel's hairbrush and Thomas's jailhouse cheek swab. "Open it," Marcy's ghost seemed to whisper. But fear paralyzed him. What if the boy was his? Could he love the child of the man who destroyed everything? He slit the seal. Probability of paternity, 0%. The words blurred. Thomas wasn't the father. Then who? Samuel wailed. David lifted him, the baby's warmth seeping into his bones. "You're mine now," he vowed. "I'll burn the world to keep you safe." And non-sleuth 94, Sarah's mother, Evelyn, met David at Sarah's grave. Higgins didn't act alone. She handed him a flash drive, bank records, monthly payments from the Denver clinic to 3 foster homes. David scrolled. "They're buying kids, adoptions, special ones." Her voice broke. Blonde hair, blue eyes. "Like Sarah, like your Lily." The screen flickered. Infant number 7. Mother, Rachel Goldstein. Status, terminated. David's coffee cup shattered. She was pregnant before Samuel. Evelyn gripped Sarah's teddy bear. "They sell the unfit babies." Rachel refused. Thomas smirked through the plexiglass. "Here you're playing daddy. Cute." David slapped the ledger copy. "Who's infant 7? Rachel's first mistake." Thomas leaned close. "Higgins' pet project. Purity adoptions. But your wife fought us. So we sent Dr. Voss to persuade her." David's fist hit the barrier. "You killed our child." "Correction, Higgins did. I just preach." Thomas smiled. "Samuel's next if you keep digging." Detective Ruiz moved them to a cabin, Samuel's crib wedged between bulletproof vests. "Higgins owns half the force. You've got 48 hours. David traced Rachel's final note. "Forgive me." Now a battle cry. He uploaded the ledger to Reddit, Twitter, dark web forums. Within minutes, #BabyBlackMarket trended. An alert, unknown number, check the woodshed. Inside, a GoPro filmed Rachel's last moments, tied to a chair, Higgins' voice off camera. "Sign the adoption papers." Never. A gunshot. David collapsed. Ruiz found him curled around Samuel. Forensics matched the gun to Higgins' collection. "We'll nail him." David kissed the baby's forehead. Not enough. That night, he lit a candle at Rachel's makeshift shrine, her scarf, her journal, a lock of Samuel's hair. "I'll take them all down. Every last one." The candle flames split into 3. Evelyn's call came at dawn. "They took my husband. Said they'll trade him for the ledger." David strapped Samuel to his chest. "Where?" "St. Michael's ruins." "But it's a..." Gunfire. Silence. In the scorched nave, Higgins waited with Evelyn's gagged husband. The ledger. Now. David raised the flash drive. "Let him go." Higgins smiled. A familiar voice behind David cocked a gun. "Drop it, Mr. Goldstein." Ruiz. Higgins' flashlight beam cut through the charred ruins of St. Michael's, illuminating Detective Ruiz as gun pressed to David's temple. Samuel whimpered against his chest, tiny fists gripping his shirt. "The ledger," Higgins repeated, extending his hand. "Or the baby gets a new scar. Like his mother." David tightened his grip on the flash drive. "You'll kill us anyway." Ruiz's finger twitched on the trigger, then froze as sirens wailed outside. "Cops." Higgins snarled. "You called them, detective?" No, Ruiz said, eyes narrowing. You did. Evelyn burst through the shattered stained glass window, her phone broadcasting live to 2.3 million viewers. Say hello to the world, Elder, she spat, panning to Higgins. The screen flooded with comments. Holy shit, it's real. Call 911. Higgins lunged for the phone. David tackled him, the flash drive skittering into the ashes. Ruiz aimed, not at David, but at Higgins. Freeze, you bastard. As riot police stormed the church, Anonsleuth 94, a collective of Sarah's old rehab mates, unleashed the ledger globally. TikTok clips spliced Higgins' adoption records with Rachel's GoPro death footage. Hashtags #SaveSamuel and #HangHiggins trended in 18 countries. But the bombshell? A 2003 photo. Higgins, Thomas, and a young Dr. Voss at a clinic opening. Its motto, purity through charity. In Higgins' mansion, FBI agents found a vault lined with shoes. Each pair tagged, infant number 12, blonde, 6 lbs. Infant number 23, blue eyes, adoption fee, $250,000. A ledger entry chilled agents. Infant number 7, Goldstein, terminated. But one shelf was empty. Samuel's nameplate. Ruiz cuffed Higgins, whispering, Sarah Miller was my niece. He tossed David a burner phone, a video of Rachel, alive but battered, mouthing, I'm sorry, from a warehouse. Higgins kept her as leverage. She's in Vancouver. David's knees buckled. Why help me? Ruiz smirked. You're not the only one with vows. Thomas, shackled in a prison van, grinned at news footage of his exposed empire. You think you won? He spat at David through the bars. Samuel's still a Goldstein. My legacy. A motorcycle screeched alongside. A masked rider hurled a Molotov cocktail. The van exploded. In a Vancouver safe house, Rachel lunged for Samuel, her wrists raw from ropes. They took my first baby, she sobbed. A girl. Higgins sold her to. David showed her the ledger's final page. Infant number 7, adopted by Mr. and Mrs. Carter, Denver. A photo paperclipped. A blonde teen, Lily's mirror image, holding a toddler. We'll find her, David vowed. As the family fled to an airstrip, Higgins' right-hand man stepped from the shadows, Dr. Voss, face burned from the prison fire. Leaving so soon? He aimed at Samuel. The Carters paid extra for a sibling. Dr. Voss's gun gleamed under the moonlight as he stepped closer, his burned face twisted into a grotesque smile. Hand over the baby, David, or I'll take him from your corpse. Rachel shielded Samuel, her voice trembling but defiant. You've taken enough from us. David raised his own gun, his finger steady on the trigger. You're not walking away from this, Voss. The standoff shattered as a helicopter roared overhead, its spotlight blinding them. Ruiz's voice crackled through a megaphone. Drop your weapons. This is the FBI. Voss hesitated, just long enough for David to fire. The bullet grazed Voss's shoulder, sending him sprawling into the shadows. In the chaos, Rachel grabbed David's arm. The ledger. It said the Carters have her daughter. We have to find her. David nodded, his jaw tight. But first, we end this. The helicopter landed, and Ruiz emerged with a team of agents. Voss is gone, he said, scanning the tree-line. But we've got Higgins in custody. He's singing like a canary. What about the Carters? David demanded. Ruiz handed him a file. Powerful couple in Denver. They've been buying kids for years. Higgins' biggest clients. Rachel's hands shook as she flipped through the photos. A blonde teenager stared back, her eyes a mirror of lilies. "She's alive," Rachel whispered. "Our daughter is alive." The FBI raided the Carters' mansion at dawn. Inside, they found a nursery lined with cribs, each child tagged like inventory. The blonde teen, Emily Carter, was in the garden, reading to a toddler. "I always knew I was adopted," she said, her voice steady. "But I never knew this." Rachel embraced her, tears streaming down her face. "You're coming home." Meanwhile, agents uncovered Higgins' offshore accounts, funneling millions into a global adoption ring. The scandal toppled politicians, pastors, and CEOs. In a derelict motel, Thomas bandaged his wounds, his reflection mocking him in the cracked mirror. "You're a ghost now," he muttered, "but not for long." He dialed a number. "It's me. I need extraction." The voice on the other end chuckled. "You're out of favors, Reverend." The line went dead. Thomas smashed the phone, his rage boiling over. He grabbed a knife and stormed out, determined to reclaim his empire, or die trying. David and Rachel returned to St. Michael's ruins, Samuel and Emily in tow. They lit candles for Sarah, Marcy, and the children Higgins' network had stolen. A shadow moved in the ashes. "You think you've won?" Thomas emerged, his face gaunt, his eyes wild. "This church was never about God. It was about power. And I'll burn it all before I let you take it." David stepped forward, shielding his family. "It's over, Thomas. You've got nothing left." Thomas lunged, knife flashing. David tackled him, the two men grappling in the soot. Rachel screamed as the blade grazed David's side. Emily grabbed a piece of charred wood and swung. The crack echoed through the ruins as Thomas crumpled, unconscious. Thomas awoke in a prison cell, his empire in ashes. Higgins and Voss shared his fate, their names synonymous with evil. David's wounds healed, but the scars remained, a reminder of the cost of justice. Rachel held Samuel and Emily close, her family whole at last. "We'll rebuild," she whispered, "together." As the Goldsteins left the courthouse, a black sedan pulled up. A woman in sunglasses stepped out, her voice cold. "You think this is over?" Higgins was just the beginning. She handed David a file. Inside, photos of a secret meeting, a map of underground tunnels, and a list of names, new players in the game.